Hello and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 125. My name is Jake Burke, and I'm joined, as always, by James St. Charles. And he's kicking it in the pool, living his life in the sun. Ted, Dorsal, Finn, Libby.
Am I in the pool?
That's a great middle name.
Kinda, you're like phasing in and out of water. It doesn't really look like anything real.
I bought a standing desk, so
Wow.
I can now. Yeah, look at this. This is an intro.
This is an intro.
Wow, and
Wow.
I'm here.
You need like a Star Wars background, and then just like the ship is Ted.
The ship is
Here.
Ted.
I am the ship. Next week. Tune in next week.
Okay,
For
cool.
my
We'll work on
Star
that.
Wars episode.
Yeah.
But enough about next week, Ted, because this is the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 125, where once a week we Discord over 500 miles to talk about a gaming-related topic and what games we are playing. This week we're talking about Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and games as a service as a whole, kind of what that means. We've seen a lot of them come and go recently, and so I want to kind of just have a big old topic about kind of this trend of gaming.
It was a slow week this week.
It kind of, yeah. There was a state of play. There was actually a Sony show that was kind of meh.
Was there like a Pokemon Nintendo thing, or was that like a while ago?
I think they were supposed to be. Maybe it's coming. I don't know. But there was supposed to be like some Pokemon
I
show,
don't
right?
care, but
Who cares? Yeah, we're gonna
is it
announce
ice cream
Pokemon
again.
Daffodil.
I believe it is just more for the same game. It's DLC.
Is that what it is? Did they announce like DLC
Some
coming?
kind of update. Some kind of update.
But before we talk about Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, the shadow of the Erdtree.
Oh yes.
Via
Okay.
a tweet. We're
You
getting.
know, sorry, sorry for interrupting you,
No,
but
please.
you're right. That's what. But remember when we first talked about Elden Ring, when I like first talked about how it came out, how they just dropped it. They didn't hype
Mhm.
it up like any other game
Mhm.
company would have been like
Mhm.
Elden Ring all over your face.
Yeah.
Look what we got. Look at this map. The map is like 10 times the size.
You
of
ever
our
seen this
Fallout
shit
map.
before? Yeah.
Yeah, they would have bragged about it anywhere, like any other company, but you know, Prob is just like, here's game,
Here's the game.
here's tweet. Hey,
Yeah,
we're working
hey,
on it.
We're gonna make a DLC.
Hey,
It's in development.
DLC. They don't have like some grand event where they have people just walk up on stage. And,
I know. I love that. Like it was like 3 days after the 1 year anniversary. Like it wasn't even correlated to the 1 year
Yeah.
anniversary of the game, which I thought was so.
like, oh
fun.
yeah, guys, by the way, we're working on the game.
You're like, fuck, we forgot to.
DLC.
We didn't schedule that tweet right, but it's out now, so there you go. So yeah, Shadow of the Erdtree is coming. It's in development. We know nothing really about it.
I was
You
going
know
to
it's
ask.
gonna be good.
What is it? We don't know.
It's expansion. It's a big old
Some kind of
expansion.
DLC is coming, and that's all that matters.
We don't know if it's prequel. We don't know. I'm assuming it's prequel. 'Cause,
I'm thinking
like,
you're
people were,
going
like,
back
surmising.
in time. Yeah, they're
People
like,
were
Mhm.
surmising like who was on the horse, and the horse is like
Mhm.
you know.
yeah, Torrent's
same horse.
there. Torrent's got
That's
no
what- yeah.
saddle or anything. It looks like a young Torrent.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm very curious. I don't think we'll see it for a very long time, but I do think it's going to come out this year. 'Cause
Want to bet on it?
You want to bet on it, James?
Want to bet on it?
Fuck.
It'll come out.
I'll bet you $50,000.
Like it's gonna come out this
How
year.
about something realistic?
All right.
$50.
$50. I'll bet you $50. How about
Comes
this? How about this? How about
comes
this?
out
How about
next
this? Here's what we do. You buy me the expansion pack. If it comes out this year.
Okay.
If it comes out next
Okay.
year, I buy you the expansion pack.
I love it. I love it.
Boom.
Let's do it.
Boom. That's what we do.
Beautiful.
All right, but enough about Elden Ring. Let's talk about what we're here for. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. Rocksteady, the developers of Batman: Arkham Asylum, City Night. This is the game they've been working on for 8 years. This is their big project, and it is a big 4-player co-op Anthem style game. Is what it really looks like, to be honest. You go out into a metropolis trying to kill the Justice League that have all been taken over by Brainiac. Ed, as you know, Brainiac, your favorite DC.
The plot
guy.
of
Brainiac,
Injustice 2.
The
Yeah.
main Justice League.
Fuck, it is the plot of Injustice 2.
It's the plot of Injustice 2.
Yep. Okay.
Well, it's every
Which is
Justice League game.
I guess that's true. They always fight Brainiac.
Or story, or even the series, even the animated series.
Yeah, they always do fight Brainiac. Yeah, you one of 4 characters: King Shark, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, and Deadshot are your 4 main playable characters. They've said that more characters will be announced, but this game looks. I mean, James, do you want to kind of give a brief description of what we saw at the state of play? If you want to jump into that, or are you too much pressure under your feet?
I think we saw some story. We
Well-
saw like. Oh, did you want to see?
Ted, please, what you got?
I'm fresh on it. I got you.
He's not gonna
Thank
let
you,
you
Ted.
do it.
I'm gonna hand
Yeah,
it over to you.
We saw some story, you know. We saw Metropolis.
Yep.
I don't know. No,
You're fresh on it. That's all you have to say.
He just cuts you off and says exactly.
Hey,
He's just repeated the
hey.
two things you said. He cut you off and he goes, "We saw some story. Metropolis."
No, we saw it Open City. We saw the fighting, and the fighting, of course, is standard Rocksteady Arkham type fighting. And
Mhm.
we saw some questionable things, which I think we need to really talk about, which is the loadouts that you had for each character and the weapon loadouts, and they are concerning because it's more. It just shows off that you need to grind in this game, and some people like that.
Yeah.
I was
Or
gonna say, yeah.
or what this game is gonna be is you pay and you get like, oh, this is actually a really nice battle pass weapon, or
So
deal
they
20,000 more million damage. Did you see
in
the
the state of
numbers?
play, they said that the battle pass is going to be cosmetics only. Um, they were pretty upfront about that. That
Yeah.
they have no intention of like charging people money for better stuff.
For better
So
loot.
far, so far.
Did you see the number values on some of the weapons though?
Yeah, it's like 700,000.
That is entirely like cookie clicker type
I mean,
idle.
it's a pre-release. Like
Yeah.
those numbers don't reflect the actual game.
But yeah,
Right,
this game is like a 4-player. I mean, this game looks exactly like Anthem, to be honest, in my opinion. This game looks very much like Anthem. It is a 4-player co-op shoot 'em up game. For you saying it's very Arkham combat like, I don't get that vibe at all. It's a shooter.
So
It's a
I
third person shooter that.
I get what he's.
I
I'm
think
picking up what
the
he's putting down.
openness.
Yeah.
It is. So it takes place in Metropolis, and they said that's going to be very contrasted to Gotham, where Gotham is dirty.
Yep.
Metropolis is going to be very clean,
Yep.
which I liked. But every character in their own, it looked like it was different, but every character in their own way is going to have various different kinds of grapple up or fly to
not
the
everyone's
sky
shooting.
abilities. No. I
Everyone
mean,
is shooting. Everyone is shooting a gun in this game. Even Captain Boomerang's shooting
Is
guns. And King Shark, yeah.
King Shark?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that.
He's got a gun.
They all have guns.
But there's a lot of like ways to zip yourself around the map in the way that the Batman games did, where
I see.
Batman
Right,
would, like,
the zipping
yeah.
was what I yeah.
Okay,
like on a
okay.
button press you could fly up to a gargoyle. They kind of have the same. It looks like the same style for a lot. It's different for each character, but each character can get up in the sky. They can ground pound back down to the ground.
Yeah.
It's very fluid in that sense. It almost looks like a Spider-Man, except it's obviously not a Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and while people are falling, you can kind of slow down while you kind of are falling and you shoot midair. That seems like a big thing of the gameplay. It's
Yeah,
like this
right.
midair combat.
How's that not Arkham combat?
No, it was just like it's very shootery. I mean, it looks like a third person.
Yeah,
shooter,
but
in
the
my opinion.
slowdown is
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is true. I see what you're saying.
I think so when we talk about games as a service, one of the main games I liked was The Division.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like kind of a staple. Like when I think back, I went back played Division 2 with some friends maybe like a year or two ago. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then it comes to a point where it's not fun. And that point is where everything becomes a bullet sponge.
Yes.
And of course you have like these amazing weapons and you're dealing 20 million damage, but the things are 20 million health or 40 million health, and it just becomes like you're doing nothing, if that makes sense. Like you're not impactful. If this game it feels like you're unstoppable, maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
My worry is that when I saw all the class loadouts and all like different armor, I got a little bit of a Destiny, I got a little bit of a like.
I got a lot
okay,
of Destiny, but I was watching a lot of Lightfall, which came out yesterday. So I'm kind of hot on Destiny as well. Not that I played it; I was just watching it.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
game
is it? Yeah.
I
Go
actually I don't have that much negative to say about this, which is funny because I feel like I'm in contrast with the entire internet, who seems to just hate this game. Yes, it's true that there have been some major 4-player co-op live game flops. But the game looked fun, and if getting loot is just part of the game, like why is that a bad thing?
Is it just 4-player co-op versus? Is it PVE? Just PVE?
I believe it's
Which
just
I mean,
PvE.
As far
No-
as we are aware, yeah.
no like potential like Dark Zone, like the Division or anything like where you can do PvP. Or...
Maybe, but they didn't say anything about that. I mean, it
Yeah, they
seems like
did not.
and when you're playing solo, which they've said you can play this whole game solo, the 3 other characters are with you. So, like,
Right.
You aren't just running around by yourself. I would ask the question, Ted, because you've kind of said that one of these 4-player co-op games like this have been successful. Because I think of like the Avengers. I think of like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not technically like Gotham Knights that just came out as a very similar like it's a co-op game that's in
I know.
a single player world.
Arguably, a bigger question of like, didn't they just have one of these?
Yes, they did.
Didn't
Yeah,
they
they
just
just
have one of
made
these
this
that came
game.
out
They
very,
just
like,
did this, Ted.
middling reviews and didn't take off. I mean, I don't know anybody myself who's played it. Destiny is my biggest go-to.
hmm
Like especially an online connected kind of live service game. Destiny is my biggest go-to. It's a little bit different
It is. It's
'cause
more MMO-ish than what
it's
this.
much more
More
MMO-ish and much
MMO
less
first-person game.
co-op-y. But also, how is this different than a Borderlands? That was brought up in my household. Is like, what makes this different than a Borderlands? Um, and there are certain questions that can answer that question, but we don't know. Excuse me, there are certain answers that can answer that question, but we don't know this game well enough yet.
Yeah.
Like one of my biggest fears with no like evidence that this is the case is that you'll just have to go into missions and do generic objectives with no story bit over and over again to slowly get your gear level up. I don't know if that's going to be the case. That would be a concern of mine. I will wait till the game comes out to find out.
Is this
But that
PlayStation only?
No, it's on. I think
No,
everything.
it's on everything.
It's on everything. It's just
But
PlayStation was just
yeah,
showcasing.
but if you're playing through a story and you're still getting cutscenes and you're playing through these characters and you're having fun with it and you're just gearing up along the way, and at the end they say like, okay, if you'd like, you can do it again for harder and harder difficulties for bigger and bigger rewards. Like that ultimately is fine.
That's basically what Avengers kind of was. The Avengers
Yeah.
game was similar, and like that's kind of how I played it. Was I played the single player story stuff, and then when they would release and I beat all of the Avengers game, and like the first 2 DLC packs that dropped, I beat their story stuff.
Right.
But yes, I think you're right. Like, what if that's just this game? It doesn't feel like that's what this is, though. Like, I feel like this is trying to be that big DC games as service. We're going to add in all these characters. We're really looking at the future of what this game is going to be, not what this game is coming out in May.
Yeah.
Like, that was a lot of the focus is like, well, here's what this whole thing is, rather than like, here's the game we're going to be playing. Like, they're like,
yeah,
you're going to eventually get weapons that are Venom, like, based, just like Bane. And so they'll have, like, fun Bane stuff. And it's like, yeah, but like, what's happening? What is the game? What do we go do? Like, are you like the Avengers sitting in the helicarrier and you walk over to a map and you go like, all right, we're going to go back to New York City and do this mission and do this. And it just drops you into the same New York that you've been in over and over. Yeah. Or is Metropolis like a Sunset Overdrive where you're exploring all of Metropolis, looking around?
They did not say anything about a large open world. They simply talked about Metropolis as a setting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if this game can be just a story, start to finish, that you play through with your friends, like I have no issues with it. But you're absolutely right, and this is something that live service games, it's like a symptom of live service where they can't just tell you they have a good game. They have to tell you they're gonna have there will be more of the good game later.
Like the whole pitch is like you are going to play this forever. Like this is your next 2 years. It's like but I don't need that.
I don't even think I'm going to be playing it when it releases. I'm going to be playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing Zelda. So
I'm going to be playing Zelda, and so this comes out, and it could totally flop. Although it's probably coming out like a couple weeks after, so maybe not. But
yeah,
it's not even coming out at a nice time.
And I think that's the interesting thing of like this game is coming off the heels too of so many of these games as services kind of being canceled. Like we just got news that Avengers is done in like 2 months. Like you can't go back and play that game. Yeah. Like we're seeing Knockout City and the wrestling
Babylon's Fall. Didn't that just like stop? They just stopped services, please.
Stop service. That Anthem, last year was just. Yeah. So it
was closed.
It was closed for permanent good. They shot it in the back of the yard.
People really want their BR, their MMO, something that people will just pour money into. Because why not? Like, but it's just I don't see this 4-player co-op type of thing being it.
No,
yeah.
I'm a bit worried. I feel like people will play it, get bored, and done.
I mean, that's fine. Like I'll play it, play through it, hopefully watch the entire story and then be done and then put it down. Like that to me is a time well spent.
Mm-hmm.
I have no issue with a 4-player co-op game in like a Borderlands. Where I get very eye rolly is just this idea of like you're gonna want to play forever, or you're gonna want to play for the many years that we have content for you. And I think we are all, Jake, to your point about games that are shutting down. Like we've all hit kind of our limit of like we don't have time to play 5 games forever.
Yeah.
Like if you are into Destiny, if you've chosen to make Destiny your game or The Division, you probably are looking at this going like, I already have my one of those. And so it's really difficult when you're a quote unquote live service game to break onto the scene.
Yeah,
Um,
to win that audience over to your
right.
game now rather than the games they're already attached to.
Yeah,
Right.
like, this game's coming out, as you mentioned, between Breath of the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom, a game that'll take away a completely different demographic of people. But I was thinking, like, it's also coming out a month or so before Diablo 4,
Mhm.
another very large, very loot-heavy game with a diehard following. Like, if you're kind of in this, like, loot circle kind of, like, game, like, they have a good month before the attention is off of them.
Right.
And for some reason, they a lot of these live service games seem to believe that they've figured it out in a way that you'll stick around forever, which seems good, but it's also like it's like last generation thinking of like, guys, we don't like. I'll pay $70 for like a good, clean story. I don't need my $70 doesn't need to go into an endless service.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's funny that games are coming out that are not these live service games, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's refreshing." You know, High on Life is 12 hours, then you're done, and you never have to play it again. That's
That's
great.
amazing. Yeah, thank
That's
God.
awesome. Yeah, what a breath of fresh air. And then this, games like this come out to like public ridicule because they're like, we have like 2 years of stuff planned, you guys. Like, there's going to be way more of this, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah, like
I, d-
James, sorry, go for it.
well, I don't want it to be this thing where it's like you're always behind, where it's like, oh, I have to like level up to get the latest,
Mhm.
to get to this damage, so I can play like with this new stuff, or
Right.
because I'm just gonna be really casual with it, and I'm gonna probably fall behind. Kind of like
Mhm.
how it was Marvel Snap. They keep releasing new content that you can't get. If that's what they keep doing, that's gonna be a real problem. But maybe it plays to the high end user. I don't know. I just feel they're gonna lose a large number of their fan base because they just don't want to put the time into it.
I
It's
mean,
just different. It's a different time. That's what I'd say.
yeah, like I again, like if they pivot, or if it's a good story, like I'll buy it and play through it and have fun with it.
I
Um,
think it could be a
I
good story.
Yeah, like
That's a
like it is possible to enjoy this game and not engage with the live service aspect at all, which
right.
seems like something the internet can't comprehend.
I
Because
think once they saw the live service aspect, they just immediately like, okay, there's been
yeah,
so many bad ones. How
I
can this
mean,
be good?
right. It's interesting that like in my YouTube search to watch this state of play before coming on the show here, like I got to see, the 7 minutes of gameplay, the 15 minutes where they talk about it, and then every other video is just like why this is actual dog shit. It's like why is this the worst thing ever to happen? And it's like
I
there's a
think
lot of hate.
well, I think that for me, I mean, I'm pretty not happy with this product that I've seen.
Mhm.
And it's multiple fold, but like one of them is this is Rocksteady. These are the people that like kind of were like a big proponent of the reinvention of like the third person genre for like the Xbox 360 era consoles. Like
Mhm.
Batman Arkham Asylum like changed a lot of things in games.
Right.
Right.
Like really did a lot of technically impressive things.
Influence a lot of combat.
A lot of combat, a lot of story. Oh my god, yeah, Arkham
Grappling.
combat, grappling, but like the block parry attack, like that. Every
Oh,
game
yeah,
took
yeah.
over that thing.
Yep.
Story wise, using comic characters, like it really influenced a lot. Like then we go through this 8-year period of nothing from them, and the game I
This.
just the 14 minutes I saw, I went one of these games.
Yep.
It's got to
Yeah.
pay for those 8 years.
Yeah, right, and it's I mean, this game, dude, is the biggest boardroom. Well, the Suicide Squad's big. We gotta push the Suicide Squad. Rocksteady, you're doing the Suicide Squad. Like that game reads boardroom made the creative decisions. But
Right.
like,
And
Very sad.
this is another game from Warner Brothers. We were
Right.
talking about Harry Potter last week about how in a lot of ways it feels like a game by committee.
mm-hmm,
Harry Potter has a stealth kill.
it does.
Like Warner Brothers at the end of the day pulls the strings. All publishers
Mhm.
do in certain senses. And
Yeah.
I can very much see them being like, we're gonna make a single player DC universe game. And then someone's like, well, you gotta have a battle pass.
Yeah, you gotta have
Um,
games of service because they did
and-
it for 2 DC games. The one that just came out last year, like it's like we just mentioned,
Batman,
Gotham
The
Knights.
children of Batman?
Yeah, like
Okay.
this,
Gotham Knights.
this game is such a similar model to what that game was. You can play it single player, and we encourage that, but you can also play it co-op, and there's battle passes,
Right.
and there's going to be forever content, and it's like there's not going to be a single piece of content for Gotham Knights out.
Do you think
Right.
people are turned off from the brand just because there's been so many flops that it's like, okay, Suicide Squad, here's another one of these games.
I don't know. I actually think that it's the reverse. I think it's
You
that,
think people were buying these? Like they weren't buying Gotham Knight.
no,
No
no,
one
but I
was
think the
buying Marvel
DC
Midnight Suns. No one's buying.
right, and that's actually interesting. Yeah, I think the DC brand helps it in a way that it's not just like a bland. It's not Anthem. It's a
Right.
known quantity of at least
I
like.
guarantee if this was just Batman though, people would have been more hype.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If this was like an Arkham 4.
Right.
Or they would have been just as upset because it would have been Arkham 4, but
Gotham
with the battle
Knights.
pass. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, if anything, I would trust that Rocksteady probably had really good intentions with this game, and it's just because there's a battle pass doesn't mean that you're not going to get or you're going to get a bad story. You know what I mean? Like if you go into this wanting Suicide Squad, the game, the story, like you might not be disappointed. But if you go into this thinking, this is your next live service game for 2 years, yeah, I could definitely see a lot of eye rolling, a lot of like one of those.
Yeah. I
Um,
wonder the story aspect is an interesting thing. I wonder how. I don't know how much is that
Yeah.
going to be driving through that force if it is just kind of this bland,
right.
co-op gameplay. And also, if it is a story-based thing, do you really want your three buddies all on there while they're all talking shit about, King Shark, and then you guys, hey, shut up, shut up, shut up. The Flash is back. We gotta hear what the Flash is going
Maybe,
to say about Lex
maybe.
Luthor.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
that's up
I
to you
don't-
and your
I-
friends,
I-
I guess. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
I'm choosing not to be negative about this. Let's put it that way. Like I'm very much eye rolly, like because it's like games of service.
Yeah.
It gets shoved down your throats in a lot of ways. But I'm also just excited for a halfway decent Suicide Squad game. Why not?
Yeah. And I wonder.
It's a good story for me. That's
Yeah,
it.
I wonder the story aspects of it. I wonder like
Yeah.
how quickly are characters coming? Is it
Yeah.
is it the Avengers kind of thing where like you get clones of the two to three characters and then they finally do something different? Like
Right.
is that what we're first getting?
Yeah, and Jake, refresh my memory,
Mhm.
if you will. Like, remind me why Avengers was awful, because that's what comes to my head when I think a lot of these like superhero games and
Yeah.
service games.
The-
And
yeah.
my go-to is like no visible loot was a big problem.
So yeah, which I also would believe that's the same with the Suicide Squad game. Besides the
They
guns.
said there were plenty of costumes. I don't know about the actual guns. They look
So-
like they might be different.
So costumes were in Avengers as well. So that was kind of their battle pass system was costumes. That's kind
I
of how
believe the guns, your loadout, what you're doing
Mhm.
in Suicide Squad will change
your appearance.
cosmetically
Right.
as well. So if
Okay.
you switch
Like-
to like a melee-based Sharkman, you will have different weapons.
Okay,
out of the
that makes sense. But they won't like if you have a different chest plate on, you're not gonna have like King Shark's not wearing a different shirt or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a good look at that loot screen. I don't know if there's actually going to be like shoulders, helmet, chest piece, leg pants. Like, I don't know how extensive the actual loot is. I
Yeah.
just saw the one screenshot of the gun.
The Avengers game, just to fill you in very quickly, Ted, is it was this 4-player. You pick your Avengers squad with your friends to go out and do these missions. Like we were saying, you walk literally up to a table. You're on the helicarrier. Every mission is selected by walking up to the little map room, and you like select what city you want to go into, and then like the different missions that like require different heroes to play, and then you go out, level up your heroes. You level up like they're basically each hero had a battle pass kind of system, hero
Mhm.
pass or whatever it was called, and each level you gained, you got like cosmetics or you got like coins or whatever for certain things, and then you would go back and you'd rinse and repeat. They didn't have weapons. There weren't guns or anything. Everyone just kind of you got loot that didn't change your appearance and that like gave you stats, and then it was all just kind of like the combo based moves that then you put in your skill tree up. That was kind of what it was. And it was very bland. I mean, even the story, which was kind of fun because it's an Avengers story, was still bland. And for me, that's like where I start to look at these kind of games and go, is it just another bland one? Because we're seeing a lot of these bland games of service, games as forever
Right.
games.
Right. No story, no personality, just it's focusing on its mechanics and kind of the drip feed of mechanics.
Yeah, and the paint by numbers kind of point A to point B storytelling that these games are. Like every level of the Avengers was walk through a thing and kill things.
Mhm.
And it wasn't done in an interesting way where like every video game is walk through something and kill things. But you mix it up, you change up how that cadence goes or what you're dealing with. Or like the Avengers, just you walked into another room, the doors closed, you fought those enemies.
Mhm.
Doors open, walk through. So that's for me like where I look at this game, I'm like, I think this is another Avenger.
Mhm.
And that's where I sit at.
See,
Yeah.
you have the taste of Avengers, so you know
Nice.
like but how bad it could be.
Yeah.
Whereas we were exposed to that.
Right.
So
And like I did some science and played Anthem right before they decided to shut it down. And like moment to moment, it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was fun. Wasn't terrible, but it was this kind of question of like, why am I doing this? Oh yeah, it's to get a slightly better X so that I can keep doing this, so that I can.
Yeah.
And there's kind of this feedback loop of I'm just doing this to do this, to do this, to do this, which some people like, and there are some games that really dominate that space. Diablo is a great example of like a really fun way to do that. But
Diablo's great.
you know, as my house was talking about, like Diablo is best when you're talking with your friends on in a chat room and playing Diablo in the background.
Right.
Like that's the best way to play a Diablo. And so you're right, Jake, of like, is this going to be a very good game to hang out with your bros and chit chat while you're like quieting down for the cutscenes? You know,
because that doesn't happen like ever. Just
No.
Maybe they ride that line and they make a really good but short first playthrough where you get a cool story, Injustice 2 style, where you fight Brainiac, just like Injustice 2.
Just like Injustice 2.
With
and then the gameplay is fun, and then it opens it up of like you can keep going and like grind for loot and have fun with your friends and like really, you know, make this difficult for yourself. You just don't know.
I think your comment earlier where you were saying like you and your roommates were talking about like how is this different than a Borderlands game? That's interesting to me with the gun aspect of it. I think that adds something that Avengers didn't have. Right. But like, are we still
like your mechanism for destruction gets to change?
Yeah, right. Like that's interesting, right? Yeah, but like that being said, like Borderlands 3 wasn't very successful on that was also its gimmick.
Borderlands 3 sucked.
Borderlands
so boring.
Borderlands 3 was just another Borderlands game. Like
no, but it was just boring. The story sucked.
Yeah,
the first 10 hours were like awful.
Yeah, the problems with Borderlands 3 was very much like story related.
Story's awful.
Borderlands the gameplay was pretty lock solid. Like Borderlands.
But like, is that enough to? But like, is that enough to keep you going and playing Borderlands 3 because you get new guns and that's cool? I'm not a big Borderlands. Okay, well, Borderlands 2.
That's just that's just more of a me thing.
Borderlands 2 is great.
So good.
Yeah, everyone loves Borderlands 2. It didn't jive with me. That's just a me thing.
Prequel to the sequel.
I enjoy the game, but I just didn't like the story or the humor.
You don't like the mission where you find the monkey mans? You call them boner farts. That's good.
I don't remember that.
Any final thoughts on the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game?
I just think that it's definitely gonna have to have some legs with the story, and Rocksteady's good company, but it's been 8 years. So if this is what they come up with, and
is this the same Rocksteady?
Are they done? Are they? Is it chop and block time? I don't know. Is it the same Rocksteady? I don't know.
Right, that's the thing. I don't know. It's been 8 years. How much of that team is still there?
Bungie, you know.
Right. Yep. Ted, any files?
Yeah, I'm choosing to be positive.
I like that.
That's where I'm ending on this. Like, why not?
I think I went into my points pretty hard, so I think I've made my state claim. Before we all go, I want to know two things, James. How good did Resident Evil 4 remake look?
That looked amazing. Everything when I saw like the chat, everyone was just going wild.
Yeah,
and it is what I wanted, where it's the combination of that Resident Evil 2 kind of and Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 8.
Yeah,
where you get the best of both worlds, and it's this is the culmination of what Resident Evil has been recently, what Capcom has been doing with it, and I know it's gonna be good. They haven't missed in a while.
No, I can't wait for this game.
Except for 3, but 3 was just 2.
3
was just 2. 3 could have been 2 DLC. That's how
it was supposed to be. But 3 also, apparently the original 3 is not particularly great either. So but the original 4 is supposed to be like one of the great games of all time. So it's like,
and it's one I haven't played at all. So have you played it?
No, I own.
Okay, so we're going to be completely new to it.
I know, I'm so
which is great because I want to go in blind.
Yeah, I know. I was actually kind of bummed they showed certain things. I was like, damn, like I didn't
I
know
was like,
about
who's
the
this?
rail cars and stuff. But okay,
yeah,
all right. I'm very excited for it. It looks so good.
Doesn't it have VR? Were they showcasing that?
Yes, yeah, I think it's coming later. And Resident Evil 8 just got its VR mode, which is crazy.
Too scary.
To be fair, Resident Evil 4 already has like a VR that people absolutely love. There are people
who have VR. Can you imagine 2 VR?
Fuck that! I would not let Mr. X chase me in VR. I'd probably die. I still have somewhat like little panic attacks with Mr. X like chasing me and like
Would I hear the steps of the leather?
Yeah, the leather.
That
guy's fucking scary.
You hear the creak.
Before we go, we haven't done this in a while. What are we playing right now? What games are we playing?
I got a good one.
All right, James, take it away.
Okay, so there's this game that came out by Yogscast Games, published by Yogscast Games. One of our favorite games, Played Up, was also published by Yogscast Games.
Okay.
This game is called Aces and Adventures. It's about like $16-17.
Okay.
This game is poker roguelike. It's a 5-card poker, but you have extra cards and classes, and you play against like monsters. So I'll give you like a scenario here.
Okay.
So how he plays, you start with a 5-card hand, let's say, and then you'll have like extra ability cards. And those ability cards, for example, I'll spoil a class. There's this genie class, and the genie class is all about like cheating. It's my favorite class. I'm addicted to this class. And so you want to play like with 5-card poker. You want to play like the best hand. So let's say you have like 3 threes. It's like, okay, I'm gonna play my 3 threes. But then you have like a 4. And you have an ability card that says, actually, you can change that 4 to another 3. So now I have a 4 of a kind. So you play your 4 of a kind, and it's going to deal 4 damage to this creature. Your enemy, let's say their opponent, is going to draw their cards, and it's equal to their attack. And they have to beat your 4 of a kind. If they don't beat it, they take 4 damage. If they beat it, you take the damage.
Interesting.
And it has a story. It has like a rogue, like has like a... What is it, like an inscription type mode where you like go through it?
Endless kind of thing. Yeah,
it is fantastic. I bought in people like a couple of these games already. I haven't like told you guys because I've been trying to like save for the cast.
I like it. What is it called again?
If you like Aces and Adventures, it's really unique. Like I of course Yogscast Games has been publishing like really good games, and this one came out of nowhere. It was barely funded on Kickstarter, and it's fully voice acted. It has like little story things. It has great music. The aesthetic is great. Like I thought it was like, oh, it's just be like a little poker type game, and no, it has like prestige modes. I'm like the 3rd prestige, and then the difficulty ramps up. So like it'll be harder. Like maybe like an enemy will be like, can't take heart damage. You can't use any hearts, or it has like it'll attack first before you get to play your hand, so you have to defend with your hand. It is really good.
That's a really interesting concept.
It is. I wouldn't think about it, but it's 5-card poker with rogue like elements, and it works. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're getting better at the actual game of poker?
No, because
you cheat a lot. That's why.
You cheat. You could have so many. There's like cards where you can like cancel combat. There's cards where you can just win combat no matter what. Like I just put like a 2, and they have like 2 aces, and it's like win combat.
I was so disheartened when you said you were a genie. When you said classes, I thought you were going to be like just
there's a rogue. There's rogue classes. Warrior.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be just like various people at Las Vegas.
Yeah,
just like divorced dad, like you know your abilities. You spill your drink. Like
single
I thought
billionaire.
That's where it was going. Yeah, but
no, this is fantasy.
Really
cool. It's fantasy. Like you're like, oh, you go to a dungeon. Which path do you choose? And he's like, oh, there's a dragon there. All right, it's like I'm screwed or something like that.
Interesting. Right. And it's on Steam. Just on Steam.
On Steam. Okay. I don't know if it's Steam Deck ready. Like I can't imagine it being Steam Deck because it's like you have to like click and sometimes like manipulate stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit. It's not ready for Steam Deck, I'd say. But on Steam, and it is. It has been. I can't believe how many hours I poured into it because I beat Harry Potter.
No, that's what you're saying.
And I read the comments on our last video where someone said we were too light, and I agree because it's absolute shit.
You guys are so positive.
I don't want to spoil anything for it because Ted wants to beat it, and then Jake will tell you later.
Yeah. After this podcast, Ted's off. I want to hear about how this game ends.
Yeah.
Avada Kedavra.
I went full Dark Wizard.
Good.
I even at the end chose all like the Dark Wizard comments, and I just can't wait to tell you.
All right, cool. Okay, so there's like branching stuff towards the end of the game. Like there's choices.
No, it doesn't even matter what I'm telling this guy. I'm gonna like kill everyone. He's like, oh, okay.
Oh, you're a crazy student.
I love it.
Oh my god.
Fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Ted, what are you playing right now? Anything besides Harry Potter?
I'm still playing Harry Potter, and I'm still enjoying it in a very mindless way. It's a very good game to do after work. Of just like I'm gonna just fly on my broom and pop some balloons.
So dumb.
Yeah, it's like dumb, but I don't know. I'm having fun with it.
Have you unlocked all the spells?
No, I'm not. I'm almost done. So I'm actually playing a game that like is near and dear to my heart. I'll be brief, but I could talk about this all the time because out there's somebody at Microsoft who's my best friend, and we need to meet.
Age of Empires.
Age of Empires 2.
Oh my god!
Is it the remake or like the?
At the end of January,
Why?
Age of Empires 2 released for the Xbox Series
Why?
X.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Somebody out there.
Why not play 4?
Somebody out, because it's not out yet for Xbox.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But like, so it came out, and a part of me is just like, ever since Halo Wars, somebody at Microsoft has just been like, put strategy games on console, and they're still doing
Halo
it.
Wars.
They're still doing it.
They're still doing it to this day. So I've been playing Age of Empires
6
2.
people a year play them too. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's not it's not terrible, which came as a shock. I thought it was going to be pretty bad.
That's actually impressive.
Yeah.
How does it work? How?
James, you have to use the connect there. You have to plug in your
How?
connect, and this is how you select units.
How do I select?
wish. Oh my
What do I
god.
select my units?
No. So I'll just get ahead of the bag on this one. Like, it's not as good as PC.
We're gonna
Like,
lose
don't
it.
expect competitive play out of this. The mouse and keyboard is still the best way to play. Like, don't play a console RTS game
Except
if
for
you're
Halo
expecting
Wars.
to be good. Except for Halo Wars, which 10 out of 10. So to answer your question, James, a lot of it is automated, which is really cool. So all of your villagers, if you guys remember Age of Empires, you build villagers, build a little town. All of your villagers will do something automatically. They'll just stand there.
That's kind of
And
nice.
so you have like this like resource assignment option where you can be like, I want to put 20% of my villagers toward food, and it's literally percentages. 50% towards wood, and there's a bunch of like pre-made of like quick switch to defensive, and everyone starts doing wood and stone. Or like there's even like a quick rush, which is just food and gold, and all of your villagers just automatically they just go do their own thing, which is really cool. There's a bunch of like built-in hotkeys of just like press a button, select your nearest villager, pull the trigger, all of your build menu. So just press a button, pull the trigger, I'm building a barracks. A random villager walks over, builds a barracks. When you're done, he just walks back and goes and is assigned to go do something else.
That's cool.
It's actually not at all bad. And so your cursor, which is at the center of the screen, you can select things, or you can just select the map and then decide from there what you want to do. So you can just select the map and then just say, all my military units come here. It's actually really smartly designed. Genuinely, it's not as good as PC, but like if you're gonna play Age of Empires 2
on the
with
console,
an Xbox controller, it's surprisingly good.
Get.
And I will say there is a certain kind of fun that you don't get from the PC, where you do kind of feel like a king or a leader, in that like you're not really making direct commands. You're not telling every unit what to do. You're kind of just yelling, and then people are doing basically what you told them to do. Yeah, you're just like, all my military go over there.
Like, okay.
Go over there. Yeah. And then like, all right, some of you guys actually go over there. And then like some of them. So it's frantic and kind of disorganized in a really fun way.
Oh, nice.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. The definitive edition, of course, looks beautiful and has a whole like voice acted campaign, which is cheesy, and it's game's 25 years old. But I've been having a lot of fun with it, just playing through the little campaign missions.
Very cool.
Yeah. Age of Empires 4 is also coming out eventually, which I think this was a beta test for Age of Empires 4. Yeah. And somebody at Microsoft has a head on their shoulders. They know what they're doing, trying to make this work on an Xbox controller. So
I like the idea that it's like a guy in a closet, like Ryan is in The Office when they put him in like that little storage closet where they're just like, hey man, how's Age of Empires 4 for console company? He's like, oh, really good, guys, really good.
I don't know why Microsoft is the only people doing this, and every once in a while they're just like, yeah, we put a strategy game on consoles, and it's like not bad. Everyone's like, nobody wanted that, and you're like, we're gonna do some more. I don't know. It's wild.
Bill Gates loves it, man.
I stand with that one intern at Microsoft who's fighting for it. He's doing a great job.
That's so funny. I am playing Metroid Prime Remastered on the Nintendo Switch. I'm about like 12 hours in.
Oh, so you're almost done.
Yeah, I'm just like in like the last little home stretch of like I got all the stuff, like all the equipment. Now I got to go find the things. I've never played it before. I think I've played like the first hour or two when I was younger, but like this game's great. Like this game is really well designed.
Heck of a soundtrack.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh, yeah.
The best part about this game, especially going off from like games like Harry Potter or even, I mean, fuck, like Horizon Forbidden West and stuff, this game is silent. Like it's just ambient noise,
Very eerie.
music. There's no talking.
You feel alone in
so
a weird
cool.
way. In a weird way.
Like a really cool way. Like,
yeah.
and especially like, as you like really get like all your different abilities and like energy packs and stuff, like you start to feel like I'm a tank. I can just take anything on in this world, and it's awesome. The mobility's great. The first person like nature of it's really nice. Big advice when you play this game on Switch: increase that sensitivity for your looking around, because man, it is slow to begin with.
Like,
yeah, and it's really nice. Yeah, we talked a little bit about, I think it on like on a few shows ago, but they kept the targeting from the Wii mode, and that is like super nice.
Good, yeah.
Okay.
Game.
Yeah,
you don't really have to aim too much, right?
No.
Like you lock on.
And I think that's nice because like I don't know, I don't want to have to like take that out many times and friggin' figure out a name. There's a fean controller interface stuff that's kind of funky. Like how you fire your super missiles is very clunky. But it's awesome. I mean, recommend it to everybody. It's fantastic. I can't wait to beat it. I'm really impressed. It's beautiful looking too. Like they really up-res the hell out of this game. And it's just, damn.
I didn't mention another game, but because you brought up the controls and locked on, but I started playing Returnal.
Oh,
that came out on PC.
Nice.
Very nice.
And on my PS5 controller, and I was like telling Jake, I think I messaged you, Jake, where it's like, maybe did I tell you about it? That I was playing this?
No.
Maybe not.
What the hell? I've been telling you to play this game for a year. You start playing on anything?
He's playing on PC
I told you.
too. What a nerd.
Yeah.
Nerd. He has a PS5.
But yeah, but I have a PC. But it runs great.
Does it do DualSense stuff? DualSense range?
So it does things that I didn't even know was possible with the PS5 controller, because like I haven't really like used it, and it at first I thought my controller was broken because it has that haptic like lock, like I have to like really press down for the secondary fire.
Yeah,
and it is fantastic. I love it. I love that.
Good game.
The controllers. PS5 controller is number one controller.
Oh, absolutely. Right? And how great does like the raindrops and the footsteps and all of that stuff feel in that game?
The every vibration is like everything is like alive.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great aesthetic too. Like the game reminds me of like a Metroid type roguelike, which made me really crave it. But this is it, so I guess I'm just playing the.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Play Returnal.
I've made it to the third boss.
Okay.
On my third run.
Oh shit.
So I got pretty.
That's great.
Pretty far, but I'm now gonna go back and like I found out like a strategy that I was not taking advantage of that I need to be taking advantage of, which is the parasites and all that.
Yes.
So it's like I don't want anything negative, and I was like I didn't realize how easy it is to clear stuff, or like taking the what is it, malfunctions and all that.
Yeah, all that stuff is actually really helpful, and
I didn't realize. So I was just like, I don't want malfunctions. I don't want that.
What do you think of the house and astronaut bits?
I liked so it reminded me of PT, like a little like first person, like it was kind of a little scary. I was like,
there's some spooky ones. There's the times you're like you're looking around the room, you turn around, and then like the astronaut's just standing right there, and you're like, holy shit. It's so good.
What an incredible game, and it runs smoothly. And of course, Sony's knocking it out of the park with all their ports. Like this just
that's fantastic. I'm so happy you're playing Returnal. That makes me so happy.
It's great.
Thank you so much for watching the 125th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's Ted. That's James. And we will see you next week.